Hi, good day. We have our first Zoom class in the second lockdown. And what we're going to do new this lockdown is to give you on social media some free content so you can join from home and join our workouts because we see it as our social obligation to make you all fit and happy. If you want to become an Amrap member, then please sign up. We have some cool stuff. We lend out equipment. We give individual programs. That's all Utrecht based. In the Netherlands, of course. But if you are overseas and want to have one of our awesome coaches help you with nutrition, breathing, exercising, whatever, you could also contact us. Like, we're open, we're super flexible. So what we have today for the first time is weapons of ass destruction. That was made up by one of our members, but what it is a workout to get your glutes working. And we need those glutes to work to do deadlifts, squats, but also in all other movements because the ass is supporting our core, and our core makes it possible for our limbs to lift heavy stuff. Where we're going to start off with is 1 minute standing on one leg and then 1 minute standing on the other leg. So you're just going to lift off a leg and then stand on that one. Make sure you don't sag in that hip, but tuck your abs, lift your pelvic floor, and then stand on that leg straight up. If you want to make this harder, close your eyes. Do that for 1 minute and then change legs. And then you'll see that, I have a favorite leg, and that's why we have to practice. So make sure you lift that pelvic floor, get those abs working. There we go. So 1 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other side. Second part of the workout is a warm-up of 7 minutes. You're just gonna work. Don't breathe too heavily. It's not meant to be cardio. Try to breathe all through the nose, or maybe nose in, mouth out. What we're gonna do is 7 dead bugs on each side, where we're gonna lay flat on our backs. Make sure the lower back is in the floor, arms straight up, knees straight up, and then diagonally we're gonna extend. This one stays up, that one stays up, then go back, and then the other side. Make sure these and that one stays in, pointing at the ceiling. So for reps, it's gonna look like this. Make sure you go back before you do the other side, okay? So 7 on each side, count to 14. Then the third exercise is air squats. It's just gonna sit down and up. This is gonna feel weird now because you'll still have to warm up, but make sure that you go straight down and that your back stays straight and that you sit into that hip. So find a position where you feel comfortable. So this doesn't feel all that good, and if you stand all the way wide, it's going to feel like you're stretching. So find a position, that feels good. So these 3 movements you're going to alternate for 7 reps for 7 minutes long. Then there is part 3. That is a stretchy Emom, where you're going to do 1 minute every exercise on each leg. First one being pigeon. You're going to take this one, and then what you want to do, and this is my bad leg, but what you want to do is have this 90-degree angle, and then find that, so this is really bad, this stretch where you keep your knee down and then sit back, and then have that back straight again, and then maybe go down a little bit. You do that for 1 minute, and then you change legs so that you see that this is a little bit better. And then make sure that you keep that 90-degree angle. Your foot wants to come down and into your groin, but you have to make sure it stays here. Find that stretch in your ass. So do that both sides for 1 minute. Then we're going to do some curtsy squats. So we're going to stretch and activate at the same time. One foot. So I'm going to start on left. Is going to stay in front, directed at your camera. The other one is going to rotate. So you're going to see the side of my shoe. I'm going to come down. So here's my stretch. And in that stretch, I'm going to push. So I'm going to push with the front leg. Going back, stretch, and push. So I'm going to do that for a minute. Then I'm going to do the other side again. So stretch that hip, and then come up. Don't push with the back leg. That's not the goal here. It's to push from that, out of that stretch. So a minute on that side. Then we're going to do a seated twist. We have two variations. I don't know why I always make this harder than it should be, but you can do it. So you start with left. So let's keep the left one straight, and then you put the right one over, and you turn. So this is a little bit more on the upper body, this twist. I have some tightness in my glute that I can really target if I scrunch myself up like this. So this looks a little bit more like a shoelace stretch. I'm going to tuck this leg, the highest leg, all the way to my hip, and then if I turn here, it's going to, from my tailbone, it's going to create a real nice stretch. Okay? So not everybody's tight like that, but if you are, then you might want to do it like that. So to also do the other side, then again, if you want to scrunch yourself all the way up, feel free, and then take that knee, tuck it in your armpit over there. Okay, so a minute both sides. Feel free to jiggle and wiggle in that one. Then the last one is a couch stretch. You can do that with one foot on the couch, or you can just hold that leg if you don't have a couch close by. But what is easily done wrong in this stretch is that we lean forward and then put our bellies in front. Okay, what you want to do is create that pelvic tilt, where you activate the abs just a little bit, so then the stretch becomes here and there. Okay, so squeeze that ass and then find that stretch that's in that quad, and then maybe in the psoas as well. Okay, 1 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other side. If you're done with that, we're going into some glute fire. What we're going to do is single leg glute bridges. You can do that like this. So make sure that that heel is not too far away. Keep it close to your glutes, so it's more on the glute and quad side. If you get it far away, then it's more on the hamstring. So here, make sure that you don't tilt the hip bone, and then here we're going to create single leg glute bridges. What you want to do is make sure these ribs stay tucked down to your pelvic all the time, so you don't create this arch, but really squeeze it under. And then to make this hurt more, you can have a little pause in there. Also to make sure that your ass is working really hard on this one. If you find it hard to not move your hips in this one, then keep your elbows tucked in the ground. That makes it easier, puts less stress on the core, and makes it easier to not shift the hip. If you want to make this a little bit harder, you can put your foot on a bench or a chair or whatever, and then from here you can do the same, but make sure you don't arch, but really tuck that ass under. So 15 to 20 reps. 10 to 20 reps on each side. Make sure it burns, okay? And burning is not a reason to stop. Burning is a reason to start, okay? So do that on both sides. Then we're going to do clamshells. This is more on the side booty and a lot of abs as well. So I tuck my heels to my ass. My knees are above each other and my hip is on the floor. Put my elbow on the floor as well. I'm going to tuck those ribs in again. And then I'm going to lift off, open up the hip, but don't open up the chest, okay? So this is going to stay down and then down again. So my hip touches the floor, coming up and down. Okay, so now I have a lot of pause at the top, just to make sure I'm using all the right muscles. And then when this is all going well, you can put a little bit more speed in it if you want to. So make sure you use those low abs in the side of your ass that you just stretched in the pigeon and in the curtsy squats. So 10 to 20 reps on each side. And then we're going into glute bridges like this. Make sure you don't arch again. And you're going to do as many as you can. Maybe put a dog or groceries. I don't know. Put something heavy on your lap to make this burn faster, basically. And then when you think you're there, about 20, maybe 30 reps, you hold it there until you get that really happy face, and then you can stop and rest for just a little bit. Then when the worst burn is gone, you do 3 more rounds of this. And make sure you don't rest in between the sets. Make sure between the exercises, make sure you rest way at the end, okay? When you're done with that top hold glute bridge. This should be heavy on the ass, a little bit on the quads, and also a lot on the abs. If this goes to your back, you might have to go back to some stretching or check your form. You can always ask one of the coaches, send in a clip or something like that. Just to finish it off, we're going to use that ass burn to help us find our ass in other exercises that are a little bit more complicated and a little bit that have more muscle groups in it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to do a 3-minute Amrap of lunge crosses. So you got 3 minutes to do as many as you can, but do them neatly, not sloppy. And a lunge cross looks like this. You do an air squat, you take a lunge forward. Lunge, squat, lunge the other side. Squat, sideways. Squat, hey, other side. Whoop. Fine, there's also a stretch in there. Whoop. And then you go backwards and backwards again. And that's 1 basically. So you're going to move around that hip in all different areas. Then we do 1 minute, as many push-ups as you can, and then make sure when you do push-ups, you start with the heaviest one you can think of. So that could be just chest to floor push-ups, or put your feet on a bench, or whatever. If that is a little bit too out there for you, you can always do them on your knees, or just go slow down and then lift yourself back up. Slow down. Or you can do them against a table or a bench or whatever. Just destroy your pecs, okay? So make sure you keep those shoulders low and you press from the chest. You do that as many as you can, any way you can, with proper form and the pecs. For a minute, and then we do 3 minutes more of air squats. So we're going to use that ass to get up off that squat. So what I want you to do is squeeze that ass when you come up, and then squeeze it here. Make sure you don't arch like that, but you just tuck that ass under. So we have 3 minutes of squats where your ass is still on fire. And then just to make sure your pecs are really dead, we do 1 minute more of as many push-ups as you can. Okay, so that's a little bit of a surprise cardio. I'm out of breath only talking about it. So have fun, make sure you feel those glutes working, and tell us what you think in the comments, okay? Thank you, bye.